Goeie nuus is deesdae bra skaars, maar 'n wysiging aan die Zondo-kommissie se reëls kan dalk help om gouer vir staatskapers oranje oorpakke aan te trek. Ek gesels nou met Sindisiwe Twala. Sy is die woordvoerder vir die Nasionale Vervolgingsgesag se ondersoekdirektoraat wat juis geskep is om staatskapers te jag. Sindisiwe, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Valdemar.
Please explain to us, what does the new rules for the Zondo Commission which the President announced entailed, and why is it good news for you?
So last week, Advocate Hermione Grenier was ecstatic on the 28th of July when she heard that the Zondo Commission's rules have now been amended. This basically means that we can now share information with the Zondo Commission investigators. This further means that the Zondo Commission is not barred from sharing those documents. You should know that before the amendment that we coexisted with the Chinese walls, meaning they couldn't give us any form of information. And we also now can, at the end of the Zondo Commission's period, hire some of the legal minds that have been working at the Zondo Commission for the past 2 years. So what this also means is that in 2008, when the the act was amended, after the Scorpions were disbanded, or during the period when they were disbanded, it meant that the NPA could not hire its own criminal investigators. It now means that we have to work with the police in order to collate information, in order to assess the information that we have. But now, with the new regulations, it means that we can also, at a later stage, hire the criminal investigators from the Zondo Commission who've worked for the past 2 years on the same cases and can also assist us to expedite so that we can actually have those people who looted state funds brought to book.
Sindisiwe, so having followed, I imagine, very closely events at the Zondo Commission for the last 2 years, which of those cases have given your directorate a sufficient material that you can say, you know what, we've decided that based on what we heard at the Zondo Commission, we are putting together a case against X or Y, for example, Bosasa?
Essentially, when Hermione Grenier took up the position, Advocate Hermione Grenier, she broke up the investigating directorate into 3 pieces. So the security sector, which focuses on law enforcement, you will know that there are 2 cases in that regard. In law enforcement, we have the Khomotso Phahlane case and various others where 191 million rand is sought in that criminal case. Trial is going to be set later on in the year. There's the blue lights car marking tender that is also before the courts. Then with high-profile crimes, Bosasa, just last week, they were back in court, the 4 accused, Lindam T, Angelo Agrizzi, and various other, accused of over 1.8 billion rand in that criminal case. So that is something that featured prominently at the Zondo Commission. Another case that we've actually taken up, it's also going to be set down for trial on the 27th of October, is the Eskom Gusile power station looting that happened in Mpumalanga, valued at 745 million rand. These are the senior officials as well as foreign companies who also partook in the looting that we're going to be setting the trial date on the 27th of October. So those are some of the cases that have featured, but that's not it. Many other cases. Estina is going to be back on the roll. You will remember that in 2018, the NPA took the decision to provisionally withdraw that case, but the investigating directorate head has on more than one occasion stated that we're almost ready to bring it back on the court roll. And having seen some of the things coming together in that particular case, a lot of heads are going to roll.
Sindisiwe, would you agree with many members of the public who say that it's quite urgent that we see sooner rather than later some convictions here?
Definitely. I'm a member of the public myself. I might work for the investigating directorate. Advocate Hermione Grenier might work and lead this particular cause, but she too has seen that the public and ourselves do want that the people who looted our fiscus, we know that our state-owned entities are limping. Others are actually threatening retrenchments. Others have already started. So we are working as quick as we can. The resource injection by the amendment of the Zondo Commission is definitely giving us a kick in the right direction in order to get the capacity and in order to expedite the prosecutions as quick as possible.
Sindisiwe, we know that the National Prosecuting Authority has been complaining for some years now about capacity constraints. You mentioned capacity. How many prosecutors and experts are there inside the directorate who wade through these thousands of pages of documents? Do you have sufficient capacity to bring to book the crooks?
As of last week, we're getting more hands on deck. But as it stood, I do not want to mince my words. We were undercapacitated. The NDPP, Shamila Batowi, did come in Parliament earlier on this month and did give a report that we do need more hands on deck. But the amendment by the President is very comforting. It means now that we can pull in those resources. We know that the State Capture Commission of Inquiry has had significant resources. It has state-of-the-art equipment as well as personnel there. So getting those resources is also going to help us, not necessarily just getting those resources, but also to get people who further understand how state capture worked, the hypothesis of how state capture worked and how the looting took place. I must also add that as much as we're going to be bringing in those resources from the Zondo Commission, the Commission is tasked with answering a completely different question to us. They're tasked with answering on a balance of probabilities. We have to collate some of the evidence that we found on our own, but to put a strong case that will hold weight, that won't be thrown out of court, that will sufficiently make sure that people are brought to book. That's why people are saying the hands of justice are not turning quick enough. It's not that. We want to be absolutely sure that cases won't be withdrawn, want to be absolutely sure that those who looted do not get out scot-free.
Sindisiwe, thank you very much.